Yeah, I need a shave, but I'm on holiday, so who cares? Anyway, just want to have a quick chat, another little car chat for you. Wanted to talk about the paranormal, why we do go out there and investigate and all that sort of stuff, or why people like myself go out there and investigate, and why we document what we are investigating. There's a lot of people who wonder why we go out into cemeteries of all places. I heard a comment the other day, um, let the dead be dead, uh, which I get quite amused at because basically my belief is that we as people, there are more to us than just skin and bone, and we have an energy around us, within us, that actually leaves the body when our body ceases to exist. So the reality is that we never actually really die. Our essential essence of ourselves keeps going on. It just moves on, transitions to another phase. There's a couple of reasons why paranormal investigators like to go out into cemeteries and that. One is for the history aspect, because there's some awesome history that you can find on the headstones in cemeteries. And the second is that there are chances that you can actually perhaps pick up some spirit energies that are floating around or hanging around the cemetery for some reason or another. Paranormal investigators like to YouTube, they like to document what they're picking up on and sensing, and what their gear is picking up on. The motive behind good paranormal investigators is to educate the public, to make them aware that there is more to us than skin and bone, and that our energy leaves our body when our body demises, and it carries on. Going into cemeteries and documenting what you find in there and documenting the history alleviates the fear of death, which is an important thing, because people should not be fearful of death at all, because once again, it's life is a part of our journey, and after we pass on, there is another part of our journey. For the most part, people who pass away, they do cross over. There are some who, for certain reasons, do not cross over, and they're still hanging around on the earth plane. Those who don't cross over, usually it's because they have some emotional connection to the earth plane, emotional connection to the family. They could have like an amnesia type of a syndrome where they don't really realise that they've died. They can be very confused, and more often than not don't realise that there is a better place that they can move towards. We find earthbound spirits can be very lonely, very confused, can be very frustrated, and often they wonder why the hell nobody's paying any attention to them, because they don't realise that they have actually left their body, and the living generally can't see them. Good paranormal investigators often put on another hat, which is a counsellor's hat, and we try to help them with their emotional issues, or the reasons, whatever the reasons are, that they are still earthbound. Paranormal investigators will do that either on camera or behind the scenes, off camera. If the investigators are mediums, then they can actually communicate directly with them and do the counselling work with them and try to help them with their issues, so that they can eventually cross over and be with family who are waiting for them. If they're not mediums, then they can use the tech gear that a lot of paranormal investigators have, and bring along with them, and they can communicate with the spirit and try to find out why they are still earthbound and what we can do to help them cross over. Quite often we go into cemeteries, old jails, asylums, old buildings and things like that, and the spirit will pick up that we are trying to communicate with them, and they're quite happy to do so because they've had nobody to talk to at all for sometimes a very, very long time. Other spirit may be a little bit wary of paranormal investigators and wondering what the hell they're doing in the area where they once lived. The important thing to realise is that spirit are people too. They are just us without a body. They have feelings, they have emotions, they have frustrations, sometimes they have anger issues, all sorts of things, just like us humans do. And if you walk into an area where there are spirit, if you treat them like they are a person, you're more likely to get some respectful interaction. So on YouTube you see that there are a lot of paranormal investigators who do go out there just for the thrill aspect, but there are a lot more out there who go out there with the right morals and try to document what they're doing to educate the public, to make people aware that there is no need to be fear of spirit in general, or human spirit that is. I'm not going to talk about other types of entities or spirits here. I'm just talking about the human spirit. Spirit of people too, and just remember that one. Treat them accordingly, and you'll get the right interactions, and hopefully if they're good paranormal investigators, they will try to help the spirit in one form or another. When you leave your body, it's like being in a foreign country. There are people who cannot understand you, people who cannot hear you, people who cannot see you, and it makes it very difficult and very confusing for them. And when they do realise that you can communicate with them in some way or form, sometimes they are overjoyed and enthusiastic. Some of them are a little bit narky because in life they're a bit grumpy, they're a bit of an arsehole in life, but you just got to take it as it comes. People are people, spirit of people too. In most cases, when we go into a scenario where there is a very aggro spirit that's causing issues, generally there is a reason behind it, and if you can work with the spirit to try and determine what the issue is, then you will alleviate the problem. And when you've done that, you put on your counsellor's hat, and basically you can, over time sometimes, because it can take a little bit of time, educate them that there is a better place to be, that there is family waiting, and you know, if you have the know-how to help cross them over, you can help cross them over to be in a much more loving, peaceful, in a place where they need to be. So when it comes to paranormal investigating, whether it be cemeteries, jails, asylums, whatever, the basic moral compass for paranormal investigators is to firstly educate the public, to alleviate the fear of death and dying, to educate that there is more to life than skin and bone, that we do transition, we do move forward into an energy existence, which we call spirit, and also to quite often help the spirit that are still earthbound, that have not crossed over. And that's why we do what we do. And granted, there are a lot of YouTube paranormal investigators out there who do what they do for the public or on YouTube for the thrills of it all, and also for the money aspect on YouTube and all that sort of stuff. The Rigidage paranormal investigators don't have that moral compass. It's more in helping spirit and educating the public, and also help the people who are able to pick up and sense spirit and who do have spirit interactions in their homes or wherever they may go, and they don't quite understand what it's all about. It's all about gaining knowledge. Paranormal investigators over time gain a lot of knowledge, and we can pass that knowledge on to the public who are having spirit type issues and don't understand what the hell is going on. It's spirit is nothing to fear. Human spirit is nothing to fear. I keep saying spirit are people too, because it is very true. They are just people without a human body. They're now in an energy form. And I think once people start to understand that more and more, people alleviate the fear of spirit, the fear of sensing things, the fear of seeing things, the fear of seeing spirit doing some sort of an interaction, whether it's moving things on tables or, you know, switching lights, flickering lights on and off, interfering with radios and TVs and all that sort of stuff. A lot of time when that sort of stuff is happening, they're trying to get an interaction with you because they can sense that you can pick something up, and they're hoping they can get some sort of an interaction with you because they're living a very, very lonely, confused existence if they're earthbound. There's so much that we do at Black Rose behind the cameras that you don't actually see on cameras. A lot of it is a counselling work with spirit. We talk to the spirit directly because we're both mediums, and we do help them with their issues. And you know, that's a very big thing of, you know, a big part of what we do and what good paranormal investigators and mediums do. Just as the living go to counsellors or welfare workers or psychologists or whatever, spirit sometimes need that aspect too. So quite often you've got to put on that type of a hat. In life there are ways and means of dealing with unruly people, arseholes. And it's the same in spirit. There are ways and means of dealing with arsehole spirit or unruly spirit as well. And you know, you can gain through investigations, you learn so much about spirit. You learn so much about the human factor of life, and you learn to work with what you can to help people. And again, spirit of people too. And all those things that I've just mentioned in this video is the reason why paranormal investigators go out there and do the investigations. As we exist in our human form, there are many life paths, and for some people the spiritual side or the spirit side of things doesn't cross their life path at all. But for other people, at some stage, spirit will cross their path and they will be wondering what it's all about. And this is what we do. We educate, we help the living and spirit. Cheers for now. Bye.